Most unhinged thing your mother-in-law has ever said to you. My blood pressure went through the roof reading these. The day my mother died, my mother-in-law said how excited she was to be the only grandma. She introduced me to people as, this is the person carrying my grandbaby. I laughed one time because someone's response was, does the incubator have a name? She called my now husband while he was 2 states away for work and told him she saw me running around town all over some guy and he was driving my car. She didn't know I was sitting next to him 2 states away. I was going to give you a Mother's Day card, but you're not pregnant anymore. 6 weeks after a fetal demise. She was livid when she found out he had a vasectomy because what if you want more kids in your next marriage? While I was in the room. She got mad at my husband for wanting to see his wife and kids first when he returned from rehab. We cut her out. My ex-mother-in-law would tell people she doesn't know how to be a mom because she doesn't have one. My mom passed away when I was a baby. Okay, and what's her excuse? She said she felt very unwelcome and disrespected when she showed up to our house late at night while we were sleeping and the front door was locked. Boundaries! I became desperately ill at her house and asked her to call 911. She said, stop being such a baby. I had sepsis. Also, when someone asks you to call 911, you just call 911. Period. She paid to fly the girl she always hoped he would end up with in for our wedding and then encouraged my husband to spend time with her the night before our wedding. I would have uninvited her. When I broke the news about my miscarriage, she said, well, I wasn't ready to be a grandma anyways. At my wedding reception, she was walking around telling people our marriage wouldn't last longer than 6 months. Married for almost 24 years. Wow. Told me she hopes she never has any redheaded grandchildren after meeting my mom who has red hair. Joke's on her, my youngest is a beautiful redhead who gets nice comments anytime we're in public. Mine tried to call my doctor's office to get my therapy records to try and prove that I was an unfit mother because I was getting treated for postpartum depression. You have got to be kidding me. I didn't gain a daughter-in-law, I lost my son. Well, all right then. She asked me if I ever sleepwalk. I'm a full-time wheelchair user. She uninvited me to Thanksgiving because she misses the way it used to be. That had been the last holiday either of us ever spent with her. Introduced me as his first wife. What? I have a mango in my Insta bio. She accused me of having it as a secret message because I wanted my fiance to leave. Man, go. Not because it's my favorite fruit. Asked me 3 days postpartum with my son, still in NICU, if I was sure it was my husband's because he has red hair. My family has red hair. This was after she tried to kidnap him the night he was born and the hospital went into lockdown. What? We liked his first fiance better. She was a better fit with our family. We've been married 35 years now. I think it's gonna work out. Her name is Sharon. I said happy birthday to my second mom. She said thanks dear, but I think I prefer Sharon. Wow. She told me that if she died before her dog to have the dog put to sleep. Of course I just took Buttercup home and now she's living her best life. What? Oh my God. My brother died from an overdose and my mother-in-law was talking about her boys being troublemakers and I said, oh yeah, my brother was too. And she said in front of a group of strangers, well, my boys weren't drug users. I had to have an emergency total hysterectomy at 25. I'm now close to 30. And she said, you wouldn't have been a good mother anyways. Oh my God. She told me that my son's autism wasn't real and we just needed to discipline him more. Okay. Oh, your wedding dress is a size 2? Mine was a 00. Is this a good place to post my wedding photos? You're a better woman than me. I'd have asked her to leave. My ex-mother-in-law once told me if you weren't dating my son, I'd go for him. I'm sorry, what? After praising my husband, a chef, for how delicious the dinner was, my husband responded with, she made dinner. I wasn't even here. And her response was, oh, it's okay. Called my daughters her second and third favorite granddaughters in front of them and never apologized or acknowledged that it was an awful and hurtful thing to say. I don't know, man. That might have been the last time she saw my kids. My ex-mother-in-law did some crazy voodoo ceremony and cut off a chicken's head wishing for my death. True story. She was so horrific that we were guests on Oprah in 2020 on an episode about bad in-laws. What? After I had my miscarriage, I struggled with my mental health. My mother-in-law told me to unalive myself because I spent months without wanting to try again, depriving her of grandchildren. She's never met my child, by the way. No contact for 5 peaceful years. Sounds like that was the right call. She stopped my husband on the way to the car after our wedding and said, this is the worst day of my life and I will never forgive you for this. We've been married 35 years. When is this thing gonna be over? It was my wedding day. She asked me to send her my period schedule so she could track my ovulation and let me know when it was a good time. So inappropriate. What? When I was in labor, I told her I didn't want her in the room when I was pushing and she said, I don't care what you want. That's my grandchild and I'm going to be here when she's born. Nobody is gonna make me leave. The nurses gave me a safe word and had her removed. She leaned on me after Thanksgiving one year and said, boy, Nikki, if I keep eating, I'll end up as fat as you. Yo, I have the best mother-in-law ever. They're not all like this. I'm gonna go call her and tell her I love her now.